Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, your friend, North Sentinel Island, that's finally back. It says I can invite Hungary back. Do you think they're gonna accept this time? Are they gonna be besties with me? I sure hope so. It's kind of embarrassing. Yeah, I know we're making anti-tanks. I'm not going to prepare for a civil war. As we know, last time we were able to finally beat off the hated, they refused again. Which is kind of, they don't know what they're missing. Who would else, that's a shame. I want them to be friends, ideally what's going to happen is that usually what happens is that either one of these guys is going to go after one of each other, and my goal is just to sit back to take advantage of pretty much how this world evolves. Siebenachtzig. Siebenachtzig is done. Could produce a motorized unit. We got some of these in Osmark. We got some more of these. They can produce some motorized. Won't be like a Pranch or Grenadier. That's mechanized. I don't know if they actually had specific. You could go to Kustrin or Osmark. Yeah, you want those. You won't get those sooner rather than later anyway, so it doesn't really matter. 207. Current students' army is slowly getting bigger. There we go, you could hang out with Von Kleist. Today was another wonderful day of being semi-unemployed. Just worked on my paper, worked on Mechanical Turk for a little bit, waited patiently for my unemployment application from New Jersey get approved, which I haven't yet. Basically, you just check every single night, and it says, we're working on your application. It's going to be, the same thing until the world blows up. And did I get my stimulus money yet? Of course not. I'm not blaming the IRS. Imagine if you're in charge of the IRS and, the president told you in a tweet to give, $2.5 trillion of money out to people when there wasn't $2.5 trillion in the bank. It'll take a while to print the money, give it to the people, figure out where everyone lives, because I'm not really going out of my way to let them know, but you want more? Yeah, I want some civil support. There we go. So, and at least, it's... I already let them know where I live low, so it's not that bad. But, it's just the way the life works right now. We're kind of just stuck here. And I'm doing my little part to help everyone by humiliating myself on YouTube. Doing Indiegogo campaigns. I'm writing blogs. I'm writing a book about the Third Reich, because who else I'm going to write about? I'm a busy bee right now. And everyone, this is just one of those hallmarks in life. If you can entertain yourself in a small room. If you're capable of doing that, you're capable of doing many things in life. And if you can't, it's just one of those things that eventually we're going to have to learn how to do if we're going to survive as a society. Let's just work these out a little bit. Doesn't seem like we need as much. Why do we need all these tanks? Who wants these tanks? Let me see something. Okay, 4 people use my little cutesy pander division, which is pointless. Probably did something here. Yeah, there you go. Armored recon. Let's change this to motorized. Cha-ching! Now, instead of having, we're just going to need millions of opals. So we're just going to waste even more freaking army experience in this crap. And just switch this to... Can't believe it just blew it that quick. Things like this that just suck. Alright, so instead of having a lot of... Now I need rubber. Which I guess I'm gonna get from the Dutch again. Ultimately, it just seems like it's gonna be easier to build. Come up with like 1 million extra trucks and tanks. No, regardless, Panzer II is going to be outdated soon anyway, so at least it's going to be one of those things that's ultimately hopefully going to work out. You need reinforcement. Everyone needs reinforcement now. But as we say, I foolishly decided to build all these extra units. Yeah, look at all that. So probably just because we expanded some units, stuff like that. I tried to be a good person and tried to, thought things would work out in one way or another. And it doesn't really matter if I had an error. I mean, it's... Yeah. And an error's on his way up. Yeah. We need to do something to get rid of the commies. Because they're going to be like the... Because, they're going to be like... Basically what's going to happen is... I'm just hoping in this situation that... if put between a rock and a hard place... If you're no longer allowed to be a communist, you'll probably just become a Democrat, then... A Nazi. This will be a good experiment. Ooh. Oh, okay, yeah. Daily change is going down. Daily change is going up. Daily change is going up, but not as bad as... So yeah, unfortunately, I think I did another boo-boo when I just made all those commies turn Nazis. I mean, especially with the SA, they used to call themselves beefsteak Nazis because they're brown on the outside and red on the inside. I mean, it's a joke, so it's like if you're like a totalitarian Nazi, and you're totally not allowed to be one. I could see you becoming like a communist in short order. Basically, they just like to be like, makes them feel good that that sucks. At least they got some extra tanks. While people gather in the streets, the National Socialist Deutsches Arbeiterspartie finds itself at a crossroads. Good. Yeah, I want people to elect my Democrats. Good, whatever. I don't care. All I really care is that I want. Okay, good. We're going up a little bit. Yeah, good. We just allowed the little. Yeah, but things are scaled down, unfortunately, but things are going up again, which I like. So it will be democratic soon enough. Just hold your horses. I know it's 1938. Things are scary because it's 1938. People are like, oh, in 62 days, everything's going to be... No, I'm like, just relax. Things will be, things are going to work out. People are worried because we have a deficit of infantry equipment. We don't have to worry about this because soon we will be in a situation where we'll have plenty of infantry equipment and we might not even have to go to war. Because we'll be friends with the United States, which will be a democracy, which in turn will allow us to, which in turn, will allow us to sort of, be in a situation where we can just pretty much get all the stuff we want from them. And maybe we could, cry to the French and to the Britain, and they'll give us supplies, too. And we'll find some other enemy to beat up on. The only thing I could think of is, to somehow... we can't really do it yet, because when Italy goes to war against the Czechs... Italy will be pretty much screwed because we're going to... Okay, yeah, we need to get rid of our non-aggression pact. How can we do that? Okay, good. Yeah, we're going to be revoking their... We could revoke it in April if we have twice as number of troops as they do along our common border, which I obviously intend to do. My only main worry is that they die before then and we're not able to take the winnings. If you know what I mean. Because I want to go to war with Italy and use this as... You know what? Change of plans, everybody. I know you liked hanging out where the hell you were. You're all going... here. Yeah, I know. It's sad. You're all going over there, okay? You're going to be hanging out in the mountains. You're going to be able to do all kinds of exciting things there. You can understand that, right? Don't you like that? I would. At least I would. You know, you get to hang out in the... Yeah, you're all going to be going over there. So as soon as April hits, hopefully we'll just be able to mass quite a lot of forces on their border and just sort of like take some of it for ourselves. Because that's just the way I like to roll. It makes sense, when in doubt, to be able to take large chunks of the area for ourselves. Dun, 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 dun. So, I'm thinking after we finish this focus, we just like stop doing focuses. To try to save up for that 100 points so we can just do this referendum and flip over. Because, you know, at least even for Democratic, we can't go to war with Italy because they'll be fascist and we won't. And we could just cancel the non-aggression pact too with Hungary. If Israel will be fascist and we're not. I kind of feel bad for this guy. Who is this? Benex. Yeah. Kind of feel bad for him. You know, it's just one of those sad things in history. I just don't know how the hell Chamberlain was able to sleep at night with all that shit. I mean, the whole thing, too, is, like, if you think about it, like, France, Britain, and Czechoslovakia against... London Conference, what the hell is that? Slovenia. Okay, so in other words, we would want Slovenia, which is, I don't know what the hell Slovenia is. Oh, so we're basically going, yeah, it's, we, sort of, yeah, we got a lot, we already got a lot of that. Danzig, Oder Krieg, Mount Maginot, Vesuvius. Pretty much we're just doing World War II all over again. I mean, we could just become friends with these people. The funny thing, if they flip to fascists, once we go democratic, we just could take them over. It's just kind of weird, but I mean, it is kind of like cheeky. Commissariats. Do we want some less crap? Yeah, I mean, we're yeah, it's like every 5 days we're literally getting 1 point. You know what? You know what? Yeah. Yeah, now we're up to 1. So at least that's... I mean, especially because, you know, we did like the main thing we wanted, which was at least to get these... We could at least get some more fighters. some Panzer twos. There we go. That's all of them again. And once again, we sit back and we relax and reproduce some Uzi Watts it. We got what? Army 3 and Army 4. Army 1, Divide, Dry, and Fear. Okay, yeah. I see that. Now, the whole problem, do we have twice as much troops as they do once April hits? We'll find out. If worse comes to worse. We just could tell Rommel or Vince Laban to head over there. I think this is Vince Laban. Who the hell is this guy? Yeah, Vince Laban. So they could go over there. I mean, you'd think they would have thrown a bone and given like Stauffenberg or something like that over there, you know? They have enough of these leaders. Who do we got? Let's just learn all of it. We got Fedor von Bock. His name literally means goat in German. It's like, hello, my name is Mr. Goat. Well, some people say it's Ram. I was actually taught it was goat. But I mean, I wish I could actually have someone that is fluent. Just because, you know, eventually it's kind of like if you're not fluent in it, you're sort of like in a situation where Von Hassel, Von Lieb, Reinhardt, Kruger, Uth. He was, I think, Panzer Group 4. Panzer Group 4. We got Blaskowitz. I mean, actually, to his credit, here's one of those people in, during, Fall Vice, he did, like, complain directly to Hitler about, how, like, the SS was just basically killing people, and he got punished for it by spending the war in France, which actually was probably, I wouldn't mind. If I was, like, in the Wehrmacht during World War II, I wouldn't really mind spending the war in France. Von Kleist, Paul. What's Paulus only a 1? I mean, I don't know, but Deutinger, you know who this guy is. You know, they could have had Sepp Dietrich. I mean, I don't know. If they're going to have Sepp Dietrich, you might as well have, you know, I don't know. If you're like creating a game that has the Nazis in it, you're pretty much just between a rock and a hard place to begin with. I know there's a mod in which you could, like, have the Holocaust happen as an event. I just feel bad just playing as Germany proper. Just unfortunately one of those, I mean, as I said before, I've done enough dumb crap things in my life. I mean, I can say I never ran a concentration camp or anything, but you know, but at the same time, I guess I'm not really one to judge. It's the only thing I know of. It's best let this crap, we just figure out why this happened so we can figure out how not to make it happen again. That's pretty much. If you're gonna study it, that's like probably the best thing. And a lot of it, I think, it's as weird as it sounds, I think a lot of it was lost in Versailles. Yeah, good. Well, if you're thinking about it, if they're freezing up in the Alps, at least that way, No one's dying. We're not using any manpower. Doesn't really see how many people die. But, a lot of it is... personally, I do think they just lost the war at Versailles. World War II happened because of Versailles. In that case, it's actually done. Pretty much, they punished Germany enough that they got extremely pissed off. But they didn't punish them enough that they couldn't eventually, get revenge. Versus, say, compared to, after World War II, where, they did lose land, but for the most part, we played patty cake with them and tried to, became friends with them instead of, treating them like pariahs. But, a lot of that was just because we wanted to be friends with them because of the whole Soviet Union thing. The whole Cold War, all that debacles. Yeah, got a lot of Heinkels left. But, it's like if we didn't get them, we basically tried to get them on our side because of the whole Cold War, but if that whole thing didn't happen, what the hell we would have, hopefully we would have, treated them somewhat nicely. In that situation, we did occupy, their whole country for a couple of years, so, at least in that way, we sort of had to be friends with them simply just because we were living with each other. British troops and American troops were up in this area. French troops were hanging out. I think their occupation zone was kind of it was near France, the southwestern part. Obviously, the Soviets had this whole area. Well, not that whole area. That area is freaking Poland now. This area. And the interesting thing is Trizonia. That was the legal... Expand civil support. I don't want civil support. I definitely don't like anti-democrats. But anyway, I want a democracy, but I also want them to want war. So that way we could... Oh, we can do this again. At this point, I think we have really no choice but to save up for the big referendum. Oh, we're still gaining stuff, yeah. We're still gaining. The Nazis, the gaining which sucks, but yeah. They're shrinking. We're getting at 0.04. They're getting at 0.01. Alright. So time's on our side, at least in this aspect. We could kick back, relax, prepare for this big, huge, exciting referendum that we're going to hold. We might just go ahead and get a focus. This is taking longer than I expect. Yeah. As soon as 50, we can do it, and we're not going to get 50 before then. KDF Vagen. Want some more civil factories? Yes, if we get civil factories, if we get actually that research slot, what I want. And I should have been getting, years ago? It's basically like every game. If you wanted to, you could probably have, the ideal focus tree layout. Like, the first one I'll do is this. Then I'll do this. Then I'll do this. Then I'll do this. I just don't like that idea because, I mean, it's as weird as it sounds, it just doesn't resemble real life. In real life, if you're Hitler on January 1st, 1936, you wouldn't be going like, oh, should we do the Occupation Ryland event, or should we, do Gross-Warumschaft? Oh no, we can't do Gross-Warumschaft because, we have to, because eventually, if we do that and increase our infrastructure by 3, we can eventually do this event and increase fascism. Like in real life, people didn't think that way. In real life, they probably were like, oh, PDF, oh, wait a minute, that's just like a scheme we could do. Yeah, let's click on this. But, at the end, you don't really know how it's going to work out. You don't know what, you could do with it afterwards. And if anything, it's just... you probably ultimately just get more confused than anything. Yeah, alright. No, it's good. I mean, 100,000 could probably actually use something like this. Good. And you. And the rest we're just going to be spamming. Military factories for now, because why the hell not? So that's good. And otherwise, we're pretty much just sitting back, relaxing, watching the world fly by. It is now March in 1938. I wonder how the Japanese are doing. Let's see how they're doing. In this situation, they aren't really doing that well. I don't want to say they're getting their ass kicked. I mean, because they're not, but... in this situation, it actually looks like China's holding them back, which is good, Which I definitely want. The longer that war goes on, probably the better it is for us. Well, it's just as best that, people are just, if you wanted to think in, a really dark term, this makes sense for, if they're all bled out. Well, the problem is if they bleed out, then the Soviets could go in, or even the Americans. In both cases, we don't really want a situation like that. I mean, if we are going to go to war, have some sort of major war, it'll be against the Russians. I actually don't really want that to happen, but if it is, it is. Especially if we go Democratic, at least this way we'll have some sort of allies. I know, Adolf, you're not going to be around for much longer. 42, 40, good. That's what we want. We want the Democrats to be superior to that of the Nazis. Because if that's the case, we could hold a referendum and hopefully win. And I want to do that sooner or later, so you're going so I'm canceling you, unfortunately, for a while. Alright, add an hour, do your best. I know no one really seems to know about, when Adenauer was in charge, he was actually in his 80s. Like, the guy was... He was an old guy. You know, so, I mean, at least hats off to him because, like... Yeah, I know we could do something, but guess what? We're not. We're saving up our political points to get Adenauer in office. Which I'm against. I mean, I'd rather have that one guy that had... Who's he wants it? You know, as you could probably completely understand, I'd rather have, like, leading my country be a guy that, like, lost an arm fighting for his country, you know, in the previous war, and then he spent, like, a couple years in a concentration camp. I guess we let him out early because he's doing, like, the Democratic agitating for us. You know, I'm assuming, like, when we have a Democratic reformer who was previously in a concentration camp, you had to be, like, out of one to... Yeah, I'm assuming he has to be out of, you know, out of dock out to be campaigning. I think he had front comfort privilege. Basically, if you're in a concentration camp, they made it a little bit nicer for you if you, like, served in World War One. Or at least, I mean, it probably still sucked, but it wasn't as bad. Do we want to produce more? No. Do I really want to screw something over? We'll just produce, like, shit tons of reserves. Yes, we've got a total of 198. There we go. So at least we could say we did something on the air front with a CAG unit. Pretty large one, at least compared to, like, our other units that we have. You know, so that way, you know, if there needs to be, like, some sort of military parade in Lubeck, we'd have something. Stralsund, Stettin, Kusch, Danzig. They don't have Kiel here. There it is. Supposedly they have a good handball team. I mean, I never saw it in action. Never really played handball or know anyone that plays handball, or I don't really even understand the rules of handball. But for some reason, all I know is that they have a good handball team up in Kiel. Now, obviously, Munich has, like, the... And you can't really go wrong if you want to be a football fan in Munich. I know it's somewhere in southern Germany. Stuttgart, Augsburg. I mean, if I scrolled down, I could have found it in a second, but I didn't feel like it. But we're up to 50, so we're halfway done. And that's going to stop the recording for a second.